United take on Wolves on Saturday following back-to-back league defeats. We're going to hear from Julian Lopetegui in a moment, but first, Erik ten Hag on the mission for Champions League football.
We are convinced what we are doing. So we had a lot of success. We won a lot of games. The way we work, so method of work, way of play. So the structures are really clear, but we have to execute them, and that was the problem in some last games. We have to show 100% discipline in rules and principles, and when we do that, we are successful.
They are very, very top team, and above all, they play in Old Trafford. So we are aware that the kind of match they are going to have. So we have to be ready to compete with them. Despite we have close our achievement, but we have illusion, we have ambition to go there to play well and to be able to compete with them, because if not, you are lost. You are not ready to compete with Manchester United.
Well, Wolves have secured their safety in the Premier League for another season, and he's done a brilliant job, Julian Lopetegui, in doing that since he arrived. But Manchester United are in a crucial part of the season, Leanne. How are the nerves?
You saved the best till last, I take it. Yeah, I mean, we have to be realistic, right? Beginning of the season, I was worried about when our first win of the season was going to come from. I was at Brighton, I was at Brentford, and it was bad. But in the way that Erik ten Hag has changed us, we have a philosophy. You can finally see the style of play Manchester United are playing, FA Cup final, Carabao Cup winners, you know, these types of things. But if we miss out on top four, I'll be really disappointed, because I feel like we've progressed. But I'm happy with where we've been at. But the last two games against Brighton and West Ham, losing in those ways, you'd expect Manchester United to come back, the Manchester United of old to come back, even this season, and kind of turn it around. So I'm hoping, Wolves is not going to be an easy game, but I'm hoping we can find that, you know, that where we were a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, back-to-back 1-0 defeats. So 2 games in a row without scoring as well. And actually, the goals drying up recently has been a problem for Manchester United. And Marcus Rashford, who's their top scorer, and actually the top scorer since the World Cup in all competitions, is a major doubt for this game, which I think took everyone as a surprise. I think everyone expected him to return after that knock. But actually, it didn't sound too positive from Erik ten Hag. So how much of a loss would that be?
It's huge. I mean, we were talking with Ian earlier how dependent on him they've been, which is okay because he's a superstar and big clubs rely on their superstars. That's what they do, Haaland, Saka, etc., etc. The problem is, behind him, as we saw on the graphic, there's not much. Martial has been more out than in. Weghorst should never even wear that shirt ever again and should have never worn it, full stop. And then it's Bruno Fernandes trying on his own. Jadon Sancho is still disappointing. Antony is still, again, very inconsistent. And that's the problem. And I think if Marcus can't play this weekend, it's a huge blow. And it's at Old Trafford and you expect them to still win. But maybe for later down towards the end of the season, it could be a bigger problem. One, why would you keep him as a number 2? I don't think he's good enough anymore as a number 1 because he makes mistakes. He's the keeper this season that has made the most error leading to a goal, which is not acceptable for a club like Man United with the ambitions that they have. And maybe more importantly, for the way Ten Hag wants this team to play in terms of distribution with the ball at his feet. And we saw the mistake that him and Maguire made against Sevilla away from home in Europe. It's just not good enough. And I don't understand why they would want to keep him where he clearly is not good enough. Even if on his line at times he's had great performances and he bailed them out a few times. But now between the mistakes and not being able to play well with his feet, I don't think he's the choice.
One thing that sticks in my mind, when Pep Guardiola took over at Manchester City, one of the first things he did was get rid of Joe Hart. They'd already won the league because he didn't play that style of play, playing out from the back. He said he wasn't good with his feet. I thought Joe Hart was actually quite good with his feet, but didn't play that style. So I like what you're saying, Jules. I feel like the time has come. You know, David De Gea's been an amazing servant to Manchester United, but I feel like the game's evolved and he's a great shot stopper. But making those types of mistakes, listen, goalkeepers, if you make a mistake, it's a goal. If I don't score a goal as a centre forward, no one talks about it. So they do have a hard time, but that is their job. And he's made too many mistakes like that in recent years.
Ten Hag does continue to defend him, though, and the reason for it is because Man United have, believe it or not, kept the most clean sheets in the Premier League this season. And that kind of feels quite surprising, actually, when we talk the way we did. So with everything said, are they going to qualify for the Champions League, Jules?
They will, sorry. Yes, they will. Yes.
No, do you think that, though?
I think just about. I think that Liverpool run has arrived too late, and I think
They've got the game in hand, haven't they?
They've got the game in
United,
hand, yeah.
yeah.
So just about, I think they're squeezing.
Happy with that?
I am, but I am still nervous. I am. I don't think it's a foregone conclusion because Liverpool are in good form, but Manchester United need to find a way.
They need 9 points. They've played 57 games this season. That is more than any other team in the major leagues in Europe. They're tired, aren't they?
Well, yeah, but that could be an excuse as well. I don't think Erik tenhag would allow that. You know, in the Brentford game when they lost in the way that they did, he ran them into the ground the next day and got a reaction out of them. So I think he knows how to win, and I think he just needs a little bit more in the off-season to add into that.
Okay, it is time to get to our predictions for the week, and it's Leanne's go today.
I know.
Pressure.
There is a bit of pressure because just before we started, Jules made the point that the last time he was on the show and did his predictions, he got 7 correct, not scores, but 7 correct results and 2 or 3 of the correct scores. So, Leanne,
I'd expect nothing different
no
from this
pressure.
guy.
Let's see what you've gone for in some of the games that we haven't spoken about. So you do think Southampton will be relegated this weekend?
Yeah, I do. I think Fulham will just be too strong. I know it's at St Mary's, but I think the one that probably people are surprised about is the Chelsea Nottingham Forest.
Forest winning away from home.
Yeah.
They've got such a poor record.
And I wouldn't have, if that sounds crazy, that to have said this at the beginning of the season, no one would have expected that to be the kind of result. But I don't think anybody would be shocked if Nottingham Forest went to Stamford Bridge and got the result. What do you think, Jules, about my predictions?
Yeah, no, I like Morgan Gibbs-White is on great form. They had a huge win on Monday, of course, against Southampton. So I can see the momentum there. But home teams are allowed to win football matches as well, yeah? Because there's a lot of away wins there.
Crystal
There is
Palace
a lot
and
of away
Bournemouth.
wins.
I think Bournemouth, I just feel like Gary O'Neill, he just seems to be getting a tune out of them.
Brilliant.
Especially at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium as well, winning that game. It doesn't matter. Tottenham are not in good form at that time, but you still have to go there and get the results. So obviously I've got my beloved Manchester United winning, and people are probably surprised. Maybe it's City winning at Goodison Park 4-1, but I just expect them to win and get the job done.
So you've gone for Manchester United to win, but you have also gone for Liverpool to win. So the table will be as it is in terms of that chase for the top 4 because Newcastle a win as well. You have gone for Brighton to lose at Arsenal. However, you've gone for a Villa-Tottenham draw, which would suit Brighton rather nicely for that chase for 6th spot.
Yeah, I think we talk about managers and coaches. I know where you're going with that one. But Unai Emery, I think he's done a great job at Aston Villa in the short space of time. When he took over, Steven Gerrard, they were in relegation more or less. So I think he's done an amazing job.
Good luck, Leanne. I hope you do better than Jules, just so that you can put it to him.